are some animals that you can approach, your own pet cats and dogs for instance, maybe even the occasional pigeon or squirrel. But as a general rule, never ever approach a wild animal, no matter how small or how cute and cuddly they may be. The rule applies especially to the ones on our list today. Number 1 is particularly aggressive, so make sure you give them a wide berth. Stay tuned to find out what it is as we give you dangerous animals you should run away from. Our first entry is the moose. Moose look like they have permanent smiles plastered on their faces. They just look so docile that most people don't think twice about approaching them. Most of the time, nothing eventful happens, with the moose preferring to keep a safe distance from us humans. But when a moose mother is with its calf, then things are a lot different. They are the biggest members of the deer family and are armed with massive antlers that they use as weapons to both attack and defend. And a nervous mama moose won't hesitate to attack if they feel you are a threat to their young. Our next entry is the fire salamander. The fire salamander is an amphibian mostly found in European countries. They are famous for their superb black and yellow coloration, although some specimens also have shades of red and orange. In short, they are absolutely stunning, hence people do have the tendency to come and have a closer look, which is a pretty bad idea. In the animal kingdom, bright colorations are usually a sign of danger, and that applies to the fire salamander. The skin of this animal is covered with a toxin which it secretes from glands located just under the skin. This toxin is extremely toxic, and when ingested attacks the victim's central nervous system directly and can cause a variety of problems, which includes uncontrollable muscle convulsions and hypertension. Needless to say, the toxin is extremely harmful to humans. Our next entry is the hippopotamus. They may look goofy and you may want a hippopotamus for Christmas, but rest assured, these ill-tempered animals are one of the most dangerous animals in Africa, if not the world. Locals claim that hippos are responsible for more human attacks and fatalities than crocodiles, lions, elephants, and cheetahs combined. The thing is, there are no reliable sources that can confirm the rumor, but there are lots of evidence that suggests that there are at least 500 deaths related to hippos each year, and that number could potentially be a lot higher. There have been documented cases of hippos attacking humans, like in the case of Marius Els. Els had a pet hippo which he had had since it was just a few months old. The hippo seemed pretty tame, allowing Els to hand feed it and even swim with it. And then one day an ambulance was called to Els' home and they found him covered with multiple hippo bites. Apparently the hippo just suddenly attacked him and pulled him underwater. He was pronounced DOA in the hospital. No word on the hippo though. Our next entry is the black mamba. Kinda self-explanatory here why you should stay away from it. If it isn't clear though, there's actually 2 reasons why you need to run away from this animal. One is that they are really fast, and I mean really fast. The fastest venomous snake on Earth, in fact. They can slither at a top speed of 12.5 miles per hour. Their strikes are also fast, clocking in at 5.36 meters per second. They have been blamed for numerous human deaths, and African myths exaggerate their capabilities to legendary proportions. For these reasons, the black mamba is widely considered the world's deadliest snake. Before the advent of black mamba anti-venom, a bite from this fearsome serpent was almost always fatal, usually within about 20 minutes or so. Unfortunately, anti-venom is still not widely available in the rural parts of the mamba's range, and mamba-related deaths remain very frequent. Our next entry is the raccoon. The raccoon is definitely an animal that you're familiar with. If you reside in areas where they also live, chances are your garbage can has been raided by one of these bandits a few times. They're highly adaptable animals and can even survive in urban areas, mostly by living out the scraps that you throw away. Though a direct attack from raccoons on humans is a rare case, they do happen occasionally. The bad news is they're a known carrier of rabies, and you don't need me to explain why you wouldn't want to contract that disease. Our next entry is the cassowary. The cassowary is a large flightless bird found in tropical rainforests of New Guinea and Australia. They also have very long, powerful legs with sharp claws, making them possibly the most dangerous bird in the world. With their long, powerful legs, cassowaries can easily kick down other animals or humans. They also use their long, sharp claws as a weapon to rip any potential predator into pieces. Think of them as the modern equivalent of velociraptors, only bigger, and actually with more feathers. Never approach these birds without a shield of some sort, and if they approach you, I suggest you run. That is, if you actually can outrun them. Cassowaries can hit a top speed of 31 miles per hour and jump up to a height of 1 meter, which basically means you probably won't be able to outrun them even if you wanted to. Our next entry is the hooded pitohui. The hooded pitohui is a strikingly beautiful songbird predominantly found in the islands of Papua New Guinea. They've built quite a notorious reputation for themselves, not only to humans who live there, but also the local wildlife. This is a bird that even the most vicious of predators stay away from for risk of certain death. High levels of batrachotoxin, the same toxin used by poisoned dart frogs, are found in pitohui muscle, heart, and liver. If eaten, the toxin interrupts the normal function of a predator's nerve cells, eventually causing the diner's heart to stop beating. Hooded pitohuis and other toxic birds, such as the 4 other species of pitohuis and the blue captifrida, eat choricine beetles, which themselves contain batrachotoxin. Our next entry is the African crested rat. Never heard of this animal before? Well, I have, but that's because it's been in quite a few of our videos. Here's an animal that is so dangerous that even touching it could spell disaster because it is extremely poisonous. Much like the hooded pitohui, it doesn't produce its own toxin, but rather chews up the bark of toxic trees and then lathers its now toxic saliva all over its fur. When a predator approaches, the rat flashes a warning. It flares long white hairs on its otherwise blank flanks. It arches its back and hisses. If all this doesn't deter the predator and it eats the rat, the diner becomes uncoordinated, froths at the mouth, and, well, dies. Our next entry is the Goliath tigerfish. When one of these monster fish targets you, pray that you can swim faster than you run. A native of the Congo River Basin, the Lualaba River, Lake Upemba, and Lake Tanganyika in Africa, it is the single largest member of the tigerfish clan. The clan itself comprises of fierce predators with protruding dagger-like teeth. The biggest one on record was nearly 5 feet long and weighed 154 pounds, the equivalent of a super welterweight prize fighter. And also it outclasses other African game fish in both speed and power. Locals say it's the only fish that doesn't fear the crocodile and that it actually eats smaller ones. It's also been known to attack humans in rare instances, and it's so lightning quick and forceful that not only will it snap an angler's line, but it will sometimes make off with his or her tackle. Our next entry is the Komodo dragon. Komodo dragons are the largest living lizards in the world. They're identified by their massive size, flat heads, bowed legs, and long, thick tails. The name comes from rumors that a dragon-like creature lived on the Indonesian island of Komodo. For decades, people thought that these giant lizards kill by infecting the prey with bacteria. Its mouth is a Shangri-La for deadly bacteria, and the dragon transmits them to other creatures with their bites. But unfortunately, that's actually no longer the case. It had just recently been discovered that Komodo dragons are actually venomous, and it's actually the venom that kills its prey. So now they aren't only just the largest lizards in the world, they're also the largest venomous lizard in the world. Our next entry is the Amazonian giant centipede. The Amazonian giant centipede is among the largest centipedes of the genus Scolopendra, growing up to 12 inches or more. It can be found in various places throughout South America, especially the Amazon and the Caribbean. This is where it preys on a variety of animals including insects, other sizable amphibians, arthropods, reptiles, and mammals. It is carnivorous and very aggressive, feeding on almost everything it comes across. It is capable of overpowering not only insects or other invertebrates, but also vertebrates which include frogs, lizards, mice, snakes, birds, and even bats. They're very nervous and jumpy, hence the reason why attacks on humans occur. An attack on a human, normally in self-defense, can cause severe pain, chills, swelling, fever, and fatigue. Our next entry is the polar bear. Don't let that cuteness and the Coke commercial charm fool you. To put it quite simply, polar bears are the biggest carnivores on land, and because their icy habitat has little vegetation to offer them, they're the most carnivorous of all bear species. It's the best there is at what it does, which is eating animals. Their personal favorite victims are seals that poke their heads out of water for air, but they will eat just about anything else they stumble across too. Kinda like birds, beluga whales, walruses, musk oxen, people. Yeah, that's not good. They're dangerous because they're skilled apex predators. They can easily outrun a human and knock its head off with a swing of its pawed fists. This means that, cute as it may be, the polar bear is quite functionally the great white shark of the north. An appetite to match. Now it's time for the day's best pick. Now just what is that cute furry little thing in the photo? Well, it's furry and definitely cute, but don't even try to put your hands on one just like that on the photo. Trust me, ain't gonna end well. You might be curious, and I'm here to satiate it, so find out next with the puss caterpillar. The puss caterpillar, or woolly slug, is the most poisonous caterpillar in the US. Its poison is hidden in hollow spines among his hairs, which bears a striking resemblance to Donald Trump's infamous comb-over. A puss caterpillar sting feels like a bee sting, only worse. The pain immediately and rapidly gets worse after being stung and can even make your bones hurt. Yes, a caterpillar with no bones have the ability to make even your bones painful. Aside from the searing pain, people unlucky enough to get stung by this crawling toupee of pain can look forward to feeling much worse. Swelling, itching rash of red blotches, and raised ridges are givens, and you will also feel restlessness and anxiety. Bouts of nausea and vomiting are also possible, and depending on the severity of the sting, you can also develop fever, muscle cramps, and even go into shock. These should be reason enough to run away from these creatures, which is fortunately pretty easy. Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 15% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Our last entry is the Cape Buffalo. Yep, the Cape Buffalo gets the top spot on our list yet again. Why is that though? Well, because people don't seem to realize how dangerous these animals are. I mean, their nickname is Black Death. Why do you need any more reason to run away from these things? A matured Cape Buffalo stands 6 feet in height and can weigh close to a ton. The most noticeable feature and primary weapon of Cape Buffaloes are their large, thick horns. When a member of the herd or a calf is being disturbed, they would charge, horn first. An attack from this animal will surely result in major injuries, that is if you're lucky. These animals are known to kill thousands of humans every year. Know of other dangerous animals you should definitely run away from? Let us know down below in the comments. Also feel free to check out the channel's other amazing videos. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later, everybody!